All right. Before we get into it today, if you haven't already followed the new Instagram page, go to Instagram at The Big Truth Podcast and give us a follow. I separated out the content from my personal stuff because, if you want to follow my personal one, it's just at Big Truth. And the other new one that I just launched for people that want to go deeper into the conspiracy and weird stuff, follow on Instagram at Big Truth Redacted. Also have a TikTok for that and for the podcast and all that stuff. So Instagram at The Big Truth Podcast if you want to follow the podcast, give that a follow. And at Big Truth Redacted if you want to get deeper into the conspiracy stuff. It's brand new. I only got a few things up, but I got more going to come. There's going to be more weekly on that. Separate from the podcast, but just more in depth into conspiracy and paranormal and occult and weird stuff. All right. If you happen to need some artwork, what you need to do is go to tattooflashcollective.com and they have whatever you need. Whether you need a postcard piece of art or like a full poster, huge poster, tattoo flash, books on tattoo art. They have someone specifically on tattoo art, but they have a bunch of books that are just art books that are influential in the world of tattooing or made by tattoo artists that carry an array of subject matter. Cool stuff there. Go to tattooflashcollective.com. If you use the promo code BigTruth at checkout, you get 10% off your order. If you're a Patreon subscriber, you get even more, but you have to join Patreon to get that code. And if you're asking what Patreon is, that's a way for you to support the show. So if you wanted to help the show out, go to patreon.com/BigTruth and sign up there. There's all different levels of patronage, and they all have their own exclusive benefits and privileges. We got chats. We got early access to episodes. I do special giveaways just for the Patreon subscribers and some content just for the Patreon subscribers. And we got a lot more coming up this year for that. So go patreon.com/BigTruth. For more information on the podcast itself, just go to bigtruthpodcast.com. If you click the store link, we got merch up there. And got a new design called Bringing It Down, so check it out. If you are into motorcycles at all, check out my shop, chopahead.com. If you're not New England, if you're in New England, just come by the shop, 13 County Road, East Freetown, Massachusetts, Chopahead Custom Cycles. We're a full brick and mortar motorcycle shop, so you come in, we got a showroom, a parts counter, an area with riding gear and apparel and swag, and then a full service shop in the back. So you need an oil change or you want a full custom motorcycle built, anything in between, we got you. But if you're not local and you just want to get some swag and rep with the Chopahead hoodie or a t-shirt or something, just go to chopahead.com. We got you there. We got all kinds of hats, wild stuff, right? Check it out. That's all I got for today. We're going to hammer right into this one. My homie Marc, who was the vocalist for Metal Church and Ross the Boss and Let Us Pray, and old friend from back in the day. We get into some wild stuff at the end, so listen all the way through. The first half is music and the second half gets wild. So without further ado, listen right now.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a liftoff.
Yes, once again, we have liftoff. I want to thank you for tuning into this first inaugural episode of 2026 of the podcast. I'm stoked to be here with my man, Marc, who is an old friend and an accomplished singer and vocalist in the metal world, and also producer, graphic designer, video production guy. Like a lot of us, a man of many hats, because you got to have different hustles and grinds to get by in this world nowadays. You can't,
oh yes,
it'd be great to survive on one hustle, but unfortunately for creatives, that's not always an option. But Marc, man, the last time you came on, we were in person, but now you're doing the smart thing and you're snowbirding on the other side of the country in the warm climate. It snowed here again. It snowed more this year already than I think all of last winter. It's
funny. I was home for the holiday, And I mean, I like snow. I'm
Yeah,
not,
yeah,
obviously I come from there, and I've always liked snow, a little bit of snow.
yeah,
And, of course, Christmas and stuff like that always makes it kind of cool. And I was laughing because it snowed Christmas Eve, just a little, and
yeah,
then the day after Christmas, right? So, but that was cool because I was laughing. I shoveled snow twice.
yeah,
I haven't shoveled snow in probably about 7 years
yeah, 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 yeah.
because I'm never home, right?
Yeah, well,
And
and it's cool
I
because
got
especially on the holidays when the gym's closed, you're like, all right, I'll go shovel. That counts as a gym day, you know.
right, yeah, and then my car got totaled while it was parked in the
Yeah,
snow.
yeah,
That was fun. So yeah, it was a very interesting visit home for the holiday.
yeah, yeah. Oh
But
yeah, it's
yeah,
always
I didn't mind shoveling the snow, and I was like, it was funny after the second time, I'm like, yeah, it's time to go.
yeah. It's cool to have that option. That's the great thing, we're talking, just in general though, like about having different hustles is that a lot of the stuff you can do from wherever, right? So it's like
Dude,
you can,
honestly, that's like the best, is being able to like do like recording vocals. I've been involved in a ton of like recording, projects and stuff. And I do that all myself, so I can do that from pretty much anywhere.
yeah,
And then all the graphics and the video stuff. I mean, I do it from hotel rooms, airports, or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
and it's great. I mean, technology. Technology is great for stuff like that.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
it's it's
yeah,
it's,
yeah,
it's amazing. And I'm grateful for that because, gosh, when I was doing just building, doing the construction stuff for a long time, which I still do periodically, but I couldn't leave the area because that's where everything was.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Anchored
so it
down.
was a different story then.
Yeah,
But now I'm fortunate enough that I pick selects projects that I like to come home to and do them, and then I can leave again. So
yeah,
but hey, you know what? It took a long time to get to this point. Like yourself, we've done a lot of work. We've earned where we are.
yeah.
That's just what it is. We put the work and the time in, and then get some of the reward from it.
Sure. I'm still the idiot that's so anchored down with brick and mortar businesses that I'm just like,
Well, yeah, but I mean,
I love it and hate it. You know what I mean? I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it. Everything's there's a lot of days where it'd be like, it'd just be easier to have a regular ass 9-to-5 job. I wouldn't like it, but it'd be easier. It's definitely easier. You know what I mean? But yeah, it is what it is.
But in the long run, it's I always said, like I was like explaining this to some other people, is that if you're going to be a slave to the system, so to say, at least be your own boss.
Be your own slave master.
You know what I mean? At least let it just be
Whip yourself,
be your own master.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it.
Exactly. So in that way, it's a little bit, it's one level less to bitch about.
Absolutely. Yeah, no. And obviously it's harder to bitch when you chose this path, right? So it's like, yeah, you get what you asked for. But
yes,
also, as much of a struggle these things are, when you're crawling your way or like scraping or fighting your way through this life and on your own terms, there's a gratification to that isn't, that someone who just has a normal 9-to-5 doesn't experience.
Yeah, I'll go into the music realm of things because that's a extremely difficult place to excel.
Sure.
And I've been very, 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 very fortunate to be doing what I do at the level that I do it at. But the one thing that I always can look back at is that I did it my way.
Yeah.
I know it took me a long time, but I did it my way. And I didn't have to be a dick about it or, be a diva or have all these, any kind of outrageous demands like so many people do. It was just having a standard, having integrity, having, a code.
Yeah.
You're like me, we're old school in a lot of those ways. And I think that carries over more now than ever before because that integrity, that stoic, stance at just standing by your thing there's not a lot of that, and people just seem to bend the knee just to get to the next place, and
Yeah.
I don't. I'd just rather not, and especially at this point, no,
Yeah.
no way, dude. I'm not going to start now, and if that means, maybe doing something less or whatever, then so be it. But I don't believe that if you push that kind of energy out, that you're going to get it back, because it's not negative.
No.
It's just that you're making a stand for yourself.
Yeah. And I think one thing, just as like as an observation, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think something like, you have a long time in the game. Like, we were in high school, like, and you had
Right.
you had Hammersmith, I had ITI, and we were, we talked about this on the last episode.
Oh,
but
yes.
but we
Yeah.
go back a long way, like the late 80s and stuff. And you have a long time in the game, and you honed your craft, and like, not only you do vocals, like, I know you play stuff, and I know you program stuff, and I know you engineer, and you've like get involved in all aspects of your craft.
Right.
But when you found, like, when you kicked up to the next level with like Ross the Boss or Metal Church, you had a good foundation behind you. So you're going into it with a way better mindset and more level-headedness than if you found that level of success maybe when you're in your 20s and you're.
Oh, gosh.
Do you know what I mean? So you have the benefit of that. Like, you kicked up, you leveled up when you already had a lot of experience and wisdom behind you. So that gives you probably more respect for it, but also you're smarter about things than, if we found
Honestly.
that levels of success when we were 20 and we were just idiots, like, yeah. Like, sure, it would have been a lot funner. It probably would have been a lot funner, but it would have been a whole different game, right?
It would have been done a long time ago. We'd all be in rehab or
Yeah. And honestly, and respect to you too. It's, you found this level. You leveled up when you were already sober. Like, you
right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that was the interesting thing. Like, I had just started to be sober, and then the opportunity came, and I ran with it.
Yeah.
And it was scary, because you imagine you're just sober, and you're on tour, and booze is free everywhere.
Yeah.
I think the thing that saved me is because I was so green to touring and doing things at that level, that I was so concerned about the show and the performance, that kind of automatically was taking a back seat, thank the gods.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that was that definitely. I mean, yeah, if we would have got this in our 20s, oh gosh,
Yeah.
we would have been, we probably wouldn't be doing it now.
Yeah. We probably wouldn't be having these conversations.
It's not this conversation.
Yeah.
Nope, not at all. But I mean, but it's interesting, because like, I probably said this before, but like, at this level, when I'm playing, like, like, for instance, I've just played Hellfest this past summer, right? Like, the biggest festival now, right? And I was still a fanboy. Like, some of my favorite bands that I'd never seen before, or haven't seen in a gazillion years or whatever, were playing, and I was super excited about that. And it puts you in a different. I always feel like the fan still, even though I'm in it, and I'm doing this stuff at the level that everybody else is mostly doing it, except for the higher tier bands. But and it's. But I'm always there. I'm just like, I'm a fan. And like, I talk to everybody, and so happy to be there, and it's genuine. It's just the way I am, happy to be there and excited, and I'm on the side jamming out. So many times I laugh. We'll watch a video. Wow, they're cool. Oh shit! I'm on the side out jamming.
Yeah.
Oh God, here I am. Oh,
Yeah.
You realize that?
Well, and I think that's another thing too, like, that for kicking up, leveling up at this stage, you're not as jaded as if you've been doing it for this level of touring for 30 years. You know what I mean?
Oh,
because you talk, like, I know we both know a lot of guys that have been around and doing this stuff forever, and they don't even come out of the back room, where, like, I'll still go out, you know what I mean?
It's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal. And it's kind of, it's interesting, because, like, I've definitely had, you know, issues with that with people that I play with because they have been doing it far longer, obviously. And um and I get it, tired or whatever. We're all tired. I mean, that's
Yeah.
no matter what. But the one thing that I always say it is I'm like, you have to remember why you're here, no matter what. We're all tired.
Yeah.
And you have no idea what your even coming out to say hi, to take a picture, or whatever could mean to somebody. It really could. And I think sometimes that gets lost. And I get it. I mean, I do understand it. But at the same time, I still am like, well, if you're here getting X amount of dollars to do a performance and play, then the least you could do is, be cool with the fans, for real. And
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some really shitty things,
Of course.
and without naming names, but I definitely have seen some shitty things. But I'll also be the first person that goes in the back after and go, "What the fuck, dude? That was fucking lame."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll call everybody out. I don't
Yeah,
care.
of course, yeah. Again, having found level of success later in life, you just give less of a shit about stuff like that.
I don't. And what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You're not gonna do
Yeah,
nothing.
whatever. Yeah. And sometimes, people need that, man. One, they need your enthusiasm and your genuine excitement about things to reinvigorate
Right.
them. And two, sometimes
Right.
people need to be called out and knocked off little dumb pedestals that don't need to be there. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
sometimes
Oh,
people
yeah.
need to be humbled and reoriented to, what this all is. Like, be stoked
Yeah.
that you can do this. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
if you don't want to do it, there's 40,000 other bands that would love to take your spot.
Dude, that's the thing,
And there's
and,
no
and-
shortage.
exactly. And in it's like, there's people like what you'll just say, they don't want to face any of that, and they'll avoid it.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll be like, I don't want to deal with that, and it just the way it is. And they think they can blow things under the blanket and, swipe it away like it's going to go away. It's like, no, dude, you're still a dick. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah,
still
yeah.
a dick. Doesn't matter who the fuck you get or whatever the thing is, you're still a dick.
Yeah.
And that's just the fucking way it is. You know what I mean? And you don't want to hear it because you think it's holier than thou or whatever. Great, whatever. And that's great. If you want to live your life like that, that's cool. But I'm good. I
Yeah.
don't want to be there. You know what I mean? I know too many way better people, and I don't want to be around that. I don't need that negativity. I don't like it, especially honestly at this point after everything that I've seen over the last through 2-3 years. You know what, dude? Have at it, man. It's like I've been so disappointed by so many people
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
having climbed even further up the ladder. It was like, I gotta be honest, it really was kind of earth shattering at some points. Be like, oh my God, I can't even believe that this is even a thing at this level. What's going on here? Why is this even happening?
Yeah, yeah.
It's very mind blowing. You know what I mean? Because to you and I, it makes absolutely no common sense. There's no sense in it. Why are we even having this conversation? Why is this even an issue? Right?
Yeah, yeah,
Famous. And but it's there, and it's there, and if people can make, they say that they make the smallest thing huge, and you're like, what? That's nothing. What are you doing? You should be happy to be doing this, and and no, it's the end of the fucking world to some people, and it's like you're just sitting there going, oh my God, I don't understand this, and then it becomes a problem when it starts to affect your income because this is your job, right?
Yeah,
That becomes a problem. And that's when things in bands get ugly.
yeah. Sure, yeah.
And that's yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anybody that knows exactly what I'm talking about. And that's when it gets ugly, because now it's not just having a disagreement about the color of the logo on the album cover or whatever. Now you're talking about like, well, shit, this month's rent. Where the fuck am I going to get it? Because I'm supposed to be out on the road. Now you're not going to go on the road because you pulled a hissy fit. And now I have like 2 weeks to try to figure out how to make a month's worth of money salary because now I'm not going.
Yeah, because you had counted on that as being income that was coming in, and now it's pulled out from under you, and you know, not everyone has a healthy, you know,
right.
Not everyone has a bank account to fall back on, type of thing.
Right. I mean, you know, I'm smart enough to always plan for a disaster,
sure,
because they do happen.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's like, you know, you're planning. You know, people don't understand it. Like a lot of people don't understand it when you're touring and all these things. It's like you're planning 6 months to a year out ahead. You're in 25 and you're already planning to the end of 26, right?
Yeah.
And if you pull the plug on all that, you know, a year's worth of stuff or whatever, and then you're big, you know, as you say, you're just left there with a dick in your hand, really. You know what I mean? Because you're like, well, what? You know, because you changed everything. You've modified it, you know, and then you have to adapt. And you got to change, which is, hey, it's just the nature of the beast. It happens. I get that. And, you know, I'm not sitting here whining about it. I'm just trying to explain that circumstances like that can happen.
Sure.
And it's very unfortunate, you know, that, you know, those types of things happen and people let you down. And, you know, and hence why, like, people like us, we have our own businesses, because then that can happen.
yeah. Or if it does happen, it's a contingency, and you know what I mean. It's something else to fall back on.
Then we can, right? Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, when you're in an organization, so to say, and you know you have a say, but you don't have all the say.
Yeah.
Which is fine, whatever. But when a certain part of that mechanism pulls and then the whole thing collapses, you know, then you really don't have any option to just, you know, sit there and, you know, hope that it can be resolved. But, you know, when you're handling your own thing, then it's, you know, you adapt, you pivot, and you do your thing. So
yeah, well, that's why it's good. Like, yep. You know, with your video stuff or your production stuff or your graphic design stuff, like, or even your construction stuff, it's like you don't have to rely on anybody else. Like, no one can pull the rug. The only person that can pull the rug from under you is you. And
exactly,
you're probably not going to do that.
No. And the thing too, you know, obviously sometimes jobs might fall through or whatever.
Yeah, something happens. Yeah.
But you know, you're one of those. You just go and find something else. You just have a way of doing it, and that's, you know, that's when that comes back to around sometimes. Like, fuck, I wish I worked a 9 to 5. You know, you just have to wake up in the morning, you know, and do that. No, but then you do it and you're like, fuck, this sucks. I wish I had my own.
Well, and most of the time when you're working a 9 to 5, you're making some rich guy richer. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it depends what you're doing, you know, it depends.
Years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I worked for this big shed company. This is a long time ago. And, you know, sheds, you know, it's big money. Big money.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, we're knocking these, you know, $10,000 sheds out in like a day or two.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to myself, and I'm getting how much an hour? I'm like, what? No way.
Yeah, because if you're smart enough to go, all right, the materials is this much.
Right.
Like, this is how much I'm getting paid. And then it's like, all right, so there's this much profit. Where's that going?
Yeah, and I was like, nah, dude, I'm like, nah, I can't, that can't happen.
Yeah.
And that was the smartest thing. That was the day, you know, I was like, wow, you know, already like 6 months down the road, you've already made like fucking 3 times what you would have made if you would have stayed, you know, you're like, oh, wow, you know, and it's a skill, and, you know, if you have a skill, then go for it, man. Cause you really, you know, you're only going to, if you really want to put 1,000% into something, you'll definitely benefit from it, you know?
Yeah. So this is the first show of 2026, right? 2025 was in a lot of ways, it was probably one of the wilder years on record, right? You know what I mean? Like, just in general, like in all different aspects of things. Like, a recap, man. What was your 2025 like? Because when you came on, was it 25 or no? It was you came on was 24.
No, dude, I can't, dude. I had just got that gig, so it was 2023.
Okay, so yeah, it's been a couple of years. So what's with the 2025 recap, what was going on with Mark? You know what I mean? What happened?
Well, yeah, 2025. That let's see. How can I put it?
And-
I mean, business was fine.
Yeah.
You know, definitely did a lot of graphics. We did some really good touring with Ross the Boss. Went to Australia, hugely successful. We did our first full. We did like 3 dates in Turkey, which was way better than I could have thought. Especially it was just when they had those big riots in Istanbul.
Mm.
And I remember we basically decided that morning when we were taking the plane over whether we were going to go or not, because we didn't know what it was going to be like over there. And I'm glad we did, because, you know, media makes it a lot worse than what it is. Sometimes that's all I can say. And we went there and we were welcomed with open arms, treated amazingly. The people were awesome.
Yeah,
totally awesome.
They're probably even more appreciative
awesome.
that knowing that you're coming when there's turmoil going on. Like
Right.
a lot of people would have canceled, but when you show up, people are, especially in countries that don't get a lot of shows like that, they're super appreciative.
Yeah, and especially in a country like that where there's definitely a lot of cultural differences.
Yeah.
You know, but I think again, the media blows all that stuff up a lot more than we even realize.
Oh, 100%
there.
fear porn.
You know, you're
fear
there
porn.
and it's interesting because that was a very eye-opening trip, because there was a lot of aspects of their culture that I didn't understand. And luckily I have some really good friends there. And we had a conversation, you know, like adults should.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot. And I was glad I did, because it gave me a better understanding. I did that I didn't know before. So, I mean, that's probably one of the things. That's one thing about touring, especially in my position, that I'm so grateful for, is that I've experienced so much different kind of cultures.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you go to like Turkey, or you go to Russia, or these places are totally different than the West, you know, but at the same time, they're not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So but you would never know that if you just watch the news.
Yeah,
you would never know these things, you know? So that was definitely cool. So yeah, and you know, we did Europe and Denmark and Hellfest. We did a ton of really awesome festivals. Spain, we do really well in Spain. But you know, the Ross the Boss thing it's man of war stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So, and don't get me wrong, it's so much fun. I love it. I mean, it's such a good time, you know, and the crowds are always enthusiastic, you know? But yeah, I mean, and yeah, the elephant in the room is definitely at that, you know, for most of 2025, there was nobody knew what was going on with Metal Church. And we basically, I mean, when Metal Church canceled the tour in 2024, there was a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we didn't make public, obviously. And we kind of would, you know, people get mad, people have disagreements, and we kind of just let things lay for where they were, in hopes that maybe, you know, we could have a conversation like adults should. If there's a disagreement, resolve in one way or the other, right?
Sure, yeah.
You know, whether it's yes or no, or whatever the case may be. But there was no communication for that whole time. And you know, I did a lot of interviews, and a lot of people were always asking. When I said I didn't know, it was the truth. I did not know. You know, the last thing that I had heard, I kind of got to be honest and be 100% honest. There was definitely some half truths to what was going on, and I went along with it only because I didn't feel, you know, I still felt that if there need to be conversations before anything could be said, you know. So, I had a lot of, um, I definitely wasn't a happy person.
Yeah, sure, sure.
So, personally, I had to deal with a lot of inner demons when it comes to that stuff because I work so hard, and to just not get any kind of respect of an answer for anything, no matter what it was, after the amount of work that I put into that band. Yeah, that didn't go over too well with me for a long time. Um, so I had to definitely, that was always in the back of my mind. I I wish it wouldn't have overtaken me as much as it did, but my passion for what I do is so intense. That's the part that bothered me.
Yeah,
You know, financially that sucked too, but again, like we talk and make it up in other ways. So it really wasn't that. It was more in a nutshell. Now we've come out to where we are now. It's basically no integrity, the cowardice of not confronting any of the issues, whether good or bad, didn't matter. In my book, that doesn't work. Because we come from the same place, that doesn't fly. If there's an issue, no matter what it is, either you freaking take it out in the schoolyard, so to say, or
yeah,
you have that discussion and, each person goes, fuck you. And then that's the end of it. But when that doesn't even happen, that's a tough nail to bite. And
sure.
then, obviously the conclusion of it is to find out everything on the internet. That was the ultimate fuck you. And that does not bide well with me
Mm.
personally, um, which will be addressed in another time.
Yeah, that sucks,
But
man.
yeah, so that was a huge thing. And I mean, thankfully, I was still able to play and do stuff with Ross, which I'm eternally grateful for, and it was awesome. Um, but yeah, I mean, it definitely was a rough year coming off the tail end of that. And then obviously towards the end of the year when all that other stuff came out, I definitely wouldn't say I would want to be in the same room as me. But we got through it and it's all cool. But in a strange kind of way, out of that, amazing stuff happened, right? I finally got new Let Us Pray, my band.
Yeah.
Finally, new stuff coming out in February. Got a new deal for it. Um, got offered a solo deal, so to say. I call it a project because I don't like the whole solo thing. It's
Yeah, yeah,
weird.
yeah.
Um, and that was offered to me, and it's a wild concept, and I'm really excited about that. And then I've been fortunate enough to been I just did this yacht metal thing that actually it was the craziest thing I never thought I would do in a million years. I had a blast and it charted. How crazy is it that it charted? I didn't even know it was coming out. And the label calls me, they're like, oh yeah, it's coming out tomorrow. Oh, okay. And then they're sending me text messages. Hey, it's number 7. What? What are we talking about? They're like, yeah, it's like it's number 7 in the charts. I'm like, oh,
Like the metal
okay.
charts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, wow, okay, that's pretty fucking funny. Okay,
So
cool,
what?
man.
For people that might not be familiar? What's yacht metal?
Well, I mean, basically, it's all metal covers of yacht rock songs.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And mine was Magic from the band America,
Yeah.
and it was cool because they kind of like they let me do what I wanted, pretty much. And I remember, there's a part in a song, if you know the song, where it goes do 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 do, and I remember coming up to that going, how am I gonna do this? And I remember, I like had like eight to 10 layers of vocals, and I was like, oh well, kind of sounds like the record type of thing. And I was like, I don't like that. So I told the label, I go, yeah, I'm gonna try something here. Let me know what you think. So, I changed the whole thing up, and then they ended up changing it again and putting with what I did. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. So I like that, it's Cleopatra Records
Okay.
and they're awesome. Um, I love working with them. I've already done like 4 different projects with them. I did a rainbow tribute that's not out yet. And that was wild because I mean, I would do some of the Dio stuff, and I mean Dio,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of sacred territory. And I remember there was certain things about it. I was like, I don't feel that I'm going to do this any justice there. And they're like, no, do it, do it how you would do it. And I'm like, okay, you know. So I did it, and I remember sending it in, going, "They're gonna fucking hate this, man. This is, this is great." And I'm like, "Wow, okay,
Yeah.
all right, great, man. All right, well, that's another one." And then I just got asked to do a Deep Purple one, and so it keeps me working. I'm in the
Yeah.
studio.
Are you
And
doing
so
all
that
the
came out
instruments
of
too?
all
Are
of
you
it.
doing are you recording all the music yourself on these too? Like,
All the
or
vocals, yeah, everything.
just the
Yep,
or are
yep,
they sending you the
yeah.
tracks? Or are you recording like,
Yeah, yep, yeah. And whereas like with Let Us Pray, it's two of us and
yeah,
we do everything. That's a
yeah.
totally different thing. Yeah,
No, I know.
yeah.
But with
But
like
with
those
this,
covers, are they like, who's the backing band, or is it like,
well, that's the thing. Well, that's the thing, is that they got all these cats, dudes from like Saxon and Ozzy and all these like well-known established people, and you don't find out who's on the track till it's done.
okay,
Like
that's kind of cool.
I
Yeah,
did this.
yeah,
Right, I did this one track for, I thought it was weird because when I got the track, it didn't sound metal,
yeah.
and it was kind of, it reminded me of like an Offspring type of thing, right? So they were like, I go, how do you want me to sing this? They're like, because they sent me a vocal guide, just a simple vocal guide from the person who wrote it. And I was like, well, it sounds very, kind of punk pop or something like that. And I'm thinking, no, sing it the way you sing. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, what is this for? And at first they were like, oh, it's for like this soundtrack for like this kind of like B horror movie type thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. I kind of get the idea. Well, when I get the track, finally, when it's done, I find out it's been like totally redone, like musically, and it's Chris Poland from Megadeth back in the day, and Marty Friedman's on it. I'm like, what? I'm like, I would have seen it different if I would have known that, but
Yeah.
but it sounds cool, so it's cool to do stuff like that, and it's the same thing with this solo thing. Is they gave me they're like, we want to do like half original and half covers, and like, here's a list of people that we have access to right now, and I'm looking at it going, okay. And I'm like, so I can get this person. Yeah, like, yeah,
So it's like a menu.
dream list.
You're looking at like a menu of like guitarists and drummers and bass players. You're like, yeah, I'll take a little of this, a little of that, little.
I was like, I'm looking at it going, I wrote back, are you serious? They're like, yeah, put your dream list together and we'll see what we can come up with. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, this, that kind of puts a whole different spin on it, right?
Yeah.
And but of course, like, I have to have some of my guys involved.
Of course, yeah.
Especially for the original stuff. So, but I still haven't, like, it's weird, like, trying to pick the covers to do.
Yeah.
Like, that's been a task. I haven't really fully even decided on it.
Well, the thing with covers, right, is that to make a truly great cover, you have to take a song. I almost feel like you almost have to take a song that no one would think you would do and make it your own, so that it's as good or better, but in a different way than the original.
I agree.
You know what I mean? It
agree.
can't sound like I would never want to be a punk band doing a cover of a punk song, like, because you know what I mean. Unless you're going to do something completely different with it, otherwise it's just like let the original band sing that song. Unless it's like,
there's one cover on it that's metal.
Yeah.
That the only reason why I picked it is because it's super obscure.
Yeah.
It's a band that should have been huge, and I was like, I could put my own cool, different spin to it, but keep true to the tune. That was the only reason why I picked that one.
Yeah.
But the other ones are not metal, and I'm excited because when I hear them, I'm like, oh, imagine if that was heavy. I'm like, oh, that'd be really cool, because I want to do something like that, you know. And then you start thinking, who can I get to play on this, and then that's when it gets really interesting, and then they're already talking about with the originals, like, well, who do you want to play on this one? And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even think of that,
Yeah.
So that's again, out of the dark comes the light, and that's been super, super exciting. A little stressful, but exciting, because like now I have all these things happening. I got the Let Us Pray things starting to pop. they want that. And then, like still doing this, and again, totally grateful, and it's awesome. But I'm like, oh man, actually I feel better than I did all year stressing out about all this nonsense. And you know what? Hey, you guys go do whatever it is you want to do. I don't care.
Yeah.
It is what it is. The things that need to be dealt with will be dealt with at another time. But so yeah, and scaling up the graphics and video business. I just did Raven's video for their Metallica cover, and I'm doing Nashville Pussy's new EP artwork.
Oh, they're coming back.
So yeah, they just did a big tour with Buck Cherry.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were like, I used to love their old stuff, like when they were still like Go Motherfucker Go, like when they were still like, wow. And then they got more like rock, and it was still good. But then I was just talking about this with somebody the other, who was I talking about this? Like a couple people with that. There's that whole genre of like motor infused speed rock punk stuff that was beyond any genre, like them and Zeke and all the stuff that used to come out on that Kozik's label there, Man's Ruin, Turbo ACs and stuff, where it was like really like, I don't know, motor infused like rock, like or punk,
Yeah, it was
speed,
kind of like
speed punk and roll, like weird stuff. Like,
yeah, it was like that Motorhead attitude rock.
Punk, like weird, yeah. It was like a mix. It was
right.
beyond every genre, and like Nashville Pussy was one of those bands, and they were so good. And I just hadn't heard from them in a long time. And he had the other band there, 9 Pound Hammer, that was kind of like that too. Yeah, it's cool that they're coming back. And then,
yeah, it's funny.
How'd you get hooked up with that gig?
Ross actually was the one that recommended me to them.
Okay.
And it's a whole New York thing, I guess. And Ross being with the Dictators, you can see where that that fusion happens. Yeah, they're awesome. They're characters in real life. They're really cool. But it's funny, you got that musician, artist, business, crazy border. You could like. They'll be like, oh, well, this and this. And then you're looking at it from an artist perspective, like, a musician perspective, and you get it. But then from a business perspective, you're like, no. You need to make that decision or whatever, because, you're losing money because hours are passing. But from a musician position, you're like, oh, yeah, I totally understand.
Yeah.
So you got to have to meld it all together, right?
Yeah. But that's why you're a good guy for that type of job, because you get it from all the different aspects.
Right. And that's why it's I have an awesome time working with everybody. It's like I was working with the Raven guys, and I was like, that was so cool. I mean, growing up with Raven, doing a Metallica, I was like, oh, this is so cool,
Yeah.
And then the drummer from Raven's actually a really good friend of mine, was in Fear Factory. So, he hooked me up with that, and that was really cool because I love Raven. And but the Nashville Pussy thing is so freaking. There's a funny part about it was, I'm like, well, what do you want for the album cover? So I don't want to give it all away, but one aspect of it was like, yeah, we want this big orgy. I'm like, oh, what? I'm all, okay, that's cool. And they're like, so like with just these bodies, like this orgy. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's not going to be a big deal. Dude, I had the hardest time trying to freaking get reference for what they were exactly looking for.
Yeah.
And that was the part that took me the longest, but it was funny because the concept, when I think about it, it's fucking, the album cover came out awesome. But it's just funny. And when you first heard it, like, oh yeah, big orgy.
Like,
what?
Okay.
And I'm like, wait a second, you know who you're dealing with? Ah, yes, okay, got it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, we just finished it, so that's cool. And it got delayed because they went on that tour. So it's like an EP, a 10-inch EP.
Okay,
it's pretty cool. So yeah. So yeah, that was fun.
What's that coming out?
So yeah, get to do stuff like that. It's really, really, really cool. So yeah, getting to separate that. And I mean, I got so many gigs, obviously, from my musician friends, and a lot of them, now I got into doing another thing that I started getting into was because of video production stuff, all the big festival screens. And I did one for Hellfest, and obviously I can't hardly see it. I'm playing.
Yeah.
So you see videos online and it's like, when you see a work up on a 90-foot screen, it's like,
Sure.
fuck, that's cool, So I've been offering that now because a lot of people, like, I go to these shows and see some of these backing. I'm like, what is that? I go, hey, what's going on here, man? By the way, I do this,
Yeah, and that's the
I
cool
didn't
thing
know
is that
you did that.
a lot of places now, instead of like a curtain, they have a digital thing, so you can get way more creative with it. And I remember, I don't know how many years ago it was now, probably 7-8 years ago, like when Black Sabbath did another tour with Ozzy, and it was all the original members except for the drummer. They played at Great Woods, and the backdrop, it was it was just all the stuff you would want for Black Sabbath. It was just like, nuclear testing and all Armageddon,
Well,
doom stuff. And it added so much to the show, to the ambiance. If it's done right, it made it way more, damn, like this is like, doomy Black Sabbath. And it was like, yeah, I'm looking at Armageddon right now. And this makes 100% fucking sense.
a perfect example of that. And I'm so happy. My favorite band in the universe is Iron Maiden. And I remember going to the last tour, not this one that's happening, but the last one, the Future Past tour, right? And I was like, these guys are still using goddamn backdrops.
But it's a different backdrop for every song. I was at
But
that.
the thing
This is crazy. That's when they came out with Aces High, right? And they had the inflatable.
But it's been the same stage
plane.
for 25 fucking years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, one of these guys. And then finally, this tour, it's insane digital screens, but the way that they're doing it, I was like, finally, this is exactly what you always wanted from Iron Maiden. You know what? Maybe they waited because it took the technology to catch up to what they really wanted, because that, from what I've seen, because it hasn't come to the States yet, but the technology is just off the wall. It looks like, this stuff looks 3D, like it's coming out and it's off a screen, and that's pretty hard to do on that scale. Maybe that's why they waited, but I thank the gods they did it, because I was like, I can't take another tour with goddamn backdrops.
Well, they seem to have stuff pretty dialed in, and they seem to be pretty smart about the band and the business. So it's probably what you said.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
I mean, they got their own.
But
plane,
I was always, that's why I could never figure it out. I was like, I don't understand. I mean, these guys are like the top of the game. You know what I mean? And why are we? I mean, I can respect the whole nostalgic aspect of it, but we've been doing this for a long time. Nostalgia's kind of passing us with that. We need to move on. So when I saw that they were doing it, it was just like, yeah. And I mean, I'm never going to give away what I know, what I've seen, but the way that they're using it, they're not doing it like anybody else, which hats off to them for that. If you're going to do it, then they're going to do it. And that's Iron Maiden mentality. So it makes sense, but I'm super psyched to see that this tour, because of, even more so because of that in the set list rules, but
sure. So you're working on a solo record and a Let Us Pray record simultaneously, bouncing between the two, or how does that work? How do you manage that?
Well, here's what's interesting. So me and John, I've been working with my music partner in Let Us Pray now for 15 years. Wow, I look back and I'm thinking how much. We've only got one album, but obviously I got sidetracked because of all the stuff that I was doing. But I always figured that would help with that,
Sure.
But we ended up, now we're sitting on, like 40 to 50 songs.
Yeah.
But here's what the interesting part is, that we had a second album written, right? But that album's not relevant now to us.
Yeah.
And we've grown. And so you end up like, we did this, and then we're like, but these songs are way cooler. And you kind of put those off to the back burner, and you're like, these are cool. And then, he's a machine. He's constantly writing all the time. Now, just like anything else, not everything's going to be exactly the top A song. I mean, it's not junk. It's just like, maybe it's not something that you would use. So what happens is, now and because he's very versatile, I'm versatile, and we have a lot of different influences, you start to hear that there's different things that might fit, might not fit. And even though I don't like having boundaries, I came to the point where with Let Us Pray, there was something that I wanted to do that I felt wasn't being done within the genre of that kind of metal. And I was like, I really want to hone in on that for this going forward.
Mm.
So you have a ton of material back here that's would not fit. So what I'm doing is some of the stuff that's going to end up on this thing will be some of these unused type of things, but I'm also working with a couple of other writers because I don't want it to sound like a Let Us Pray version 2 or something. You know what I mean? And I don't want to approach it like that. So, it's kind of cool though, because you're going back to these older riffs, and now you're looking at them different. It's like, all right, well, this isn't going for this. This is going for this type of thing,
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's been a little tricky. And for me, it's melodies and stuff are not hard to come up with, and this is going to sound probably crazy to some people, but lyrics are the part for me that holds me up all the time, because I come from a school where lyrics mean something.
Sure, yeah.
And I feel that whatever I put down, I got to mean it. And I mean, for myself, because don't get me wrong, I've definitely written stuff for other people, other songs that I've done with that, they fit that.
Yeah.
Like raw stuff, writing about swords and shields or whatever,
Yeah.
That's cool. I would never put that in my stuff, but for that, it works. So it was cool.
Project,
and it was stuff we grew up with, and I'm going to say I don't like it. You know what I mean? I love all that fantasy stuff too, obviously, but it wasn't something that I wanted to purvey, because I feel like with I have a personal mission, and so making sure that I say what I want to say within the art form that I'm trying to create is very, very important. And I'm sure you can relate to that as well.
100%, yeah, I get it.
And so that's probably why. But then also I've come to the point in my life where I'm like, all right, you have to just start. You get to that point where you think everything has to be perfect. As an artist, you're like, oh my God, it's gonna be, and then you have to come to the realization that, like, when you start doing stuff at this pace and things need to happen, you have to put a kibosh on it and go, all right, I'm forcing myself. And that's not a bad thing, because that's actually a really good thing sometimes, because it forces you to pull that creativity. Because in my belief, which I think it already exists anyway, so it's like pulling it out of the universe and going, here it is.
Getting the download.
Exactly. Yeah. What do they call it? The Arcasian, the thing that Einstein said, or whatever. The quantum realm.
The Akashic.
And I'm like, right. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it that makes sense, because it is there. It's already there. If you're already thinking about it, it's already starting to think. And overcoming that whole fear of putting it down on paper, so to say, So with this Let Us Pray thing, I was psyched because it kind of came quick, and because we weren't really planning. I kept talking, and always some kind of excuse, of why. And it always came down to, like, I don't know, it's going to be, it's going to be the greatest thing since, freaking the invention of, chocolate milk or whatever. And I was like, dude, that's not going to happen, So it was like, force me. I was like, all right, I'm doing this, and we're doing it. And here we are, I'm psyched about that. I always felt like you got to open the gate and then move on out, So, which is good, because then it couldn't have happened at a better time with everything that's going on,
Yeah. And now that you have a deal, it's cool too.
My ass.
Now that you have a deal too, it's cool, because it sounds like you guys will just keep making fucking songs. So, like, if you got a label that's like, all right, give us these songs and we're gonna put it out, like it forces you to do it like in a timely.
Here's the thing that's great is that the business model is so different now of way things are released.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously we come from the school of having the record and the 10 songs, 11 songs or whatever. But I mean, unfortunately nowadays, because of downloads and stuff, it's like, you get a record and, like, in a week it's old.
Yeah.
And then there's 10 songs and probably only 3 are focused on, and then the rest are just throwaway. And I'll be honest, I've seen that in a certain thing where I was told, don't worry about this amount of songs on the record. Just do what you need to do so we can finish them to meet the date. But, focus on these because these will be the singles type of things. Okay. I don't feel very good about it, but at that time I was just doing my job, right?
Yeah.
And that's cheap to the fan as far as I'm concerned, So
Because you're still looking at a record as like the whole package. You're still looking at it as the whole package. Like, I want this art in my hand. I want to read this stuff I want to read the lyrics as I'm listening to the song. I'm going to listen to the whole record all the way through. The problem is that we're dinosaurs, not.
Right. Yeah.
But I think a lot of the people that still listen to metal are like that, though. You know what I mean? It's more than other genres,
Yeah. And when the thing is like, even, I remember this told to me so long ago, and it always stuck with me, was that the order of the songs mattered.
Of course. You got to build it. That's part of the story. That's part of the record.
It's like the way that Master of Puppets was track listed. Do you think that was just random? No.
You got to build it
All
up.
that shit was done the way. I mean, could you have appreciated Operation Mindcrime if they were randomly just put singles out? The story would have never mattered.
Yeah.
That's the difference, right? But in today's thing, and also for my own purposes, we came up with the idea of finishing a song, releasing it, and not trying to do the whole thing at once.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's what we're doing. One song every couple months. That's how it is. And then at the end of the year, it's a package.
Yep.
And then if you want it, you get it. If not, you can listen to any individual songs you want. Now, will we always do that? Who knows? I don't think so. Like the solo thing, that's going to be all done. That's going to be all one.
Yeah.
But for this, for the sheer reason of getting it moving again and getting it out there, instead of dumping you with 10 songs and trying to consume this, here's one, and then let it sit, and then here's another. Now, there's been, what was it? Soil Work. They did that on an album they did a couple of years ago, and they didn't even release it physical. And I think they ended up doing like a special edition just on tour. But they only released it digital when they released every song until the date. Then it was all one. And I was like, well, that's kind of cool because it gives you something to look forward to and it keeps it new.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
so in with the short attention spans of today, that's kind of necessary. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, is there a method to the order that you're releasing this? Like, are you building up a story with these songs? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it sounds like you kind of have a little plan, or you got a theme or something you're building.
Yeah, it definitely has. It definitely is building up a story, and I love it because I keep it like this. It's a basic layout, but as it goes along, because we do a lot of stuff spontaneously.
Yeah,
we'll lay things out, and then what you get at the end never is what we started with. I mean, it's basic there, but it's a variation. Like, for instance, with this new song coming out, there's this crazy keyboard like thing going on, and that wasn't in the song until I finished the vocals, and then I by accident came up with this whole thing, and I rearranged the song and had to record some of the vocals over again to make the song make all sense. But I love stuff like that. That's exciting. When you get that excitement of that spontaneity, you hear it.
Yeah.
Instead of everything's planned out and it's going to be like this. I don't know. I think that's part of the art of it. And I always really like leaving some of that openness and that creative flow,
Yeah. And
I find that exciting.
And I feel like with the way you're doing it, where you're releasing a song a month, that gives you more time to do stuff like that, because you're not under pressure to deliver an album.
One song.
Yeah, you're focusing on that song for that month, not working on trying to get 12 songs out together. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the part I like about it, is because even though I still have to make sure that I kick myself in the ass to get it done, because you're like, oh, well, I have time. No, you don't.
Yeah,
Because then when you say that, you're already at the end going, fuck, I got to get it done by tomorrow or whatever.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so that's why I wanted to do it like this, because I want to dig into each song as its own entity.
Yeah.
Its own existence for me. That is, if it's mine, that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? If I'm working for somebody else, obviously that's another story.
Yeah.
But if it's mine and it's that personal, it's an expression of myself, then that's how I want to do it. You know what I mean? And hopefully people, will like it. I'm not writing for anybody else. That's one thing I made sure is I write for myself. And, that philosophy comes from the people that I look up to, like George Lucas. I always loved it that he was like, yeah, I did what I wanted to do. And if it resonated, then great. And if it didn't, so be it, and I admire people like that, because that's how innovation happens. You have to take chances. Now, am I saying it's going to be innovative? No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that I know that I was true to myself to that. And for me personally, that matters. And, obviously you can only do that kind of thing to a certain degree on other projects, but it's other people involved. Right.
Sure. Yeah.
So, when you have that chance, I feel, this is what it is. And it's cool because, thank the gods that, John is such he's been patient. He's been very patient. And, but he gets it. And, he's like, it's done when it's done, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm always thankful that it was like that. And, now finally I'm like, all right, baby, I got us a new deal. We're doing this and let's go.
Is that on Cleopatra as well?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
They do Cleopatra. I know they did some of the Danzig stuff, right?
Dude, they did. That's what's the funny part is when I didn't really fully understand what Cleopatra was.
Yeah.
Until I started to work doing stuff for them and realizing that's where Ministry started. They did tons of stuff with Motorhead. Yeah. They had a #1 album with freaking William Shatner doing his record #1. That was them.
Yeah.
And like they, for instance, they got they just released the Dangerous Toys, their demos.
Yeah.
It's charted. Yeah. It's like they're very, and they got rap, they got punk, they got new wave, they got all kinds of stuff, and I love it. The people are great. They're open-minded and they're willing to take chances. And who does that these days? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm so grateful that it kind of like just it happened upon me. I didn't go seek it; it just happened. And so far so good. It worked great. It was working really good, and hopefully it continues because I love being able to just do what I do.
Yeah.
So, and.
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
No, I'm done.
Yeah. No, so as you're writing your record and the Let Us Pray, you're not really taking on working with other people as far as writing wise.
No.
And
no.
Do you got anything coming up touring wise? Is there any more Ross stuff coming up? Or
yeah, we got right now. All we have is some festival stuff in the spring.
Yeah,
that hasn't been announced yet, and we got a lot of. Again, the whole thing with touring, and if anybody is in it, they'll know it's all about budgets now.
Yeah.
That's the reality. And unfortunately, especially overseas, it's you spend all your money getting there.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you're not careful, you're playing for nothing.
Yeah.
And, I guess it depends on who it is or whatever. But, at this point, who are you playing for nothing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, but, obviously it depends on what it is or whatever. But it's really, fans don't understand fully. They don't realize that, to get 4 people from the States from all over the place over to Europe, it's, it's thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And if you're not like, you have to remember these festivals got 100 bands on it.
Yeah. So then they're not paying you as like a headliner if it was your own tour. If it was your own tour,
exactly. Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you only get what the market is going to value your worth. That's really what it comes down to. And that's with anything. The name of the game is, what is your value? Yeah. So like, for instance, like you talk about, like, what's my value? Like, that's why I do so many different things. I can, I could sing, I can write, I can design, I can do this. So I have a little bit more value because of all these things that I can do.
Yeah. Where you bring a lot to a project. Yeah.
Exactly. Where some people they have to be hand-fed everything and they just show up.
There's some people that are vocalists that don't even write. That's like, all right, give me the lyrics and I will sing them, and they might be the best singer, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, then, that again, that was part of the thing with the whole metal church that drove me insane. Was I wrote that whole record, the last record. I was the first singer in the history of the band, except for way back when with David Wayne, that wrote, all the melodies and all the lyrics and all the vocals. I did everything myself, and I got shit for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but at the time I was like, all right, well, this is my opportunity, and I went full bore. That's why I said, to kind of get totally disregarded and disrespected in that way after doing that amount of work. That was, that was tough. But yeah, I don't let anybody do my stuff. I can't. I just don't. I mean, unless I'm hired to do it, that's a different story. But if I'm involved in something, I don't know. It's just what I do. And put it this way, with the amount of things that I've done, I feel that I've earned the credibility to be able to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's it. I mean, again, I'm at that point of the game. That's just it. I know what I want to do. How I want to do it, and again, obviously if I'm working with different people and they don't like it, then I have to rewrite it.
Yeah.
Or I'm always open to say, hey, well, what's your idea?
Yeah.
That's always a thing, right? Yeah. It's like, well, nothing's better. And I mean, that goes around the whole spectrum of the world, but then what's your suggestion? Well, I don't know. Yeah. Then what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. If you've got a criticism, have a solution. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, I am not opposed to anybody's ideas. I'm not that guy. I don't want to hear what you have to say. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I like to do my own thing, and, here's what I got. And if you're like, oh my God, that's terrible, then all right, well, then I have to rewrite it. And I mean, dude, that's happened.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Hey, you know what I mean? So,
and at some point, right? Like, it's like, it's, if it's constructive and it's for the good of the project and it adds to the project, well, fuck yeah. Right. Cool. Like, shit, I didn't see it like that. That is better. Cool. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
And dude, the thing is that has happened, and that's fine. I'm not opposed to that, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm totally, and I'll be honest, if somebody presented me with something and it was like way cooler than what I was, all right, that's cool. Or maybe some of it and some of this, dude, whatever, as long as it works for the greater good of what we're trying to do. That's all I'm saying. But I always end up, instead of freaking trying to pull teeth, it's just like, well, I'll just do it myself.
Yeah.
So, that's how I end up doing so much of it, and just do it myself. So, and I really don't have to depend on anybody else.
Yeah.
Because we know how that works these days.
Yeah. No, exactly. So I think the burning question from fans of Ross the Boss and Manowar, and this ties into probably why I see you at the gym every day, is when you're back home, when are the loincloths and swords and fur and fucking, when's all that coming back? Because I think that's going to up the ticket. That's going to up the value. That's going to, it's going to boost you up in the festivals.
Oh my God. I might be the only one that me and Sean might be able to be the only ones that get away with that. Sean already plays with no shirt, so he's already halfway
he's
there.
Halfway
so
there,
he's good. I got the no sleeves. That's all you're getting out of me.
Yeah. You're gonna do it at least once, just for the oath.
Well, it's funny. There was one of the tours that we did. I think it was like, this was back in like 2019, and I remember we were playing a Halloween show in Germany,
Mm.
And I was like, dude, this is it. We gotta come out. We gotta do it. And I was all about it.
Yeah.
I was like, I was gonna get we were all trying to find like, fake fur.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna do the loincloth, the whole 9 yards. And literally at the last minute, they're like, Manowar is kind of sacred here. People might not get the joke. And it might piss off a lot of people. And I went, you might be right.
Yeah.
Because the thing is I'm making good. We would make good fun of it. You know what I mean? Because we're always busting.
It was like a respectful
stuff.
homage. Yeah.
I mean, dude, it's like we're not dissing. We're having fun with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it wasn't disrespectful in any manner.
No.
But some people, like in anything today, can take things the wrong way. So.
Sure.
How they can take things out of context.
Yes.
And so, like, maybe somebody will, out of this whole interview, they love to do that. Like, take a piece, like the news.
Yeah.
Take one piece and make a big thing out of it until they figure out that that's not actually what was said.
Well, that is the problem with media nowadays, is that someone will take a soundbite with removed from the context. And that's whether it's in this little world of music or like the big world of international politics and governance.
All over.
They take a little soundbite that could make it sound like, and then put their own spin on it. And not enough people really get into will listen to the 2 minutes before and after to get the whole context, and they'll just react to the soundbite and however it's presented by whatever propagandist is putting it forth, right? And that's the world we live in right now.
Yeah, that happened to me. I was doing Australian press for a tour, and they started talking about U.S. politics. Yeah, not something something you want to get into unless you want to talk about it intellectually, right? And whatever it was at the time, we're talking about it, and the next day, blabbermouth. Basically, I was a fascist.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? And I literally, that was the first time I ended up like in the media like that. And I was literally fucking pissed.
Sure.
Until I realized, I was like, well, guess what? Any press is good press, whatever, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever, you say what you want. I don't care. You're not going to fight the internet. Just like all the shit that's been happening over the last like 4 months or whatever, all the shit talking and stuff. It's like, trust me, and how many times will I freaking just want to be like, just want to unleash hell.
Yeah.
But you're like, man, what's the point? What's the point? You know what I mean? What is the point? And that really is what it comes down to. It's like, what's the point? I mean, it doesn't look, at the end of the day, no one fucking cares anyway. So it's just really what it comes down to,
Yeah.
So I just take it with I don't look for it. I never read reviews. I never read anything. Usually people, and I don't know why they do this. Why do you tag me on something like this? Why would you do that? I don't want to fucking know.
Yeah.
I don't care about that stuff, because if you do, then you're already lost the battle.
Well, half the thing is someone misquotes you or mistakes your thing, puts it out there. Now the court of public opinion is already there. There's nothing you're going to say that's going to convince them otherwise. So why even stoke the flames of that fire? Just let it fizzle out. Because in this, the good thing in this world of short attention spans is that they'll be on to something else in 2 days.
Dude.
So you just let it run its course and go away.
And that is the philosophy, honestly. And that's probably what's kept me sane, is that philosophy. Because I was like, it was like something gets announced and then like 2 days later, something comes out, boom, attention totally changes direction. And you're like, oh, well, that took care of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. And because unfortunately, that's just the way it is, and I kind of came to the conclusion, like there were certain things that were going on with certain people. And I was just like, I go, it's amazing how everybody forgot about this certain incident that this person did. And then suddenly they forgot all about it already. For as shitty as it was, they forgot about it already. And they're being praised now. It's like, God, we see it every day.
Yeah.
We see it every day.
It's wild.
This guy killed his mother. well, oh my God, 6 months from later, he's they made him out to be like the greatest person in the world. They forgot that he killed his mother 6 months ago.
Yeah.
I'm using this as an example, people.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just it is pretty crazy. You know, gotta I think about these things and try to use them to your advantage, I guess. If you have
Yeah.
to.
Or just use them to your sanity, meaning when things are blowing up like that, like don't get wild, because you just gonna make it worse.
Well, yeah, I mean, because obviously, I could tell you the amount of fucking posts that I freaking have never hit send on.
Someone's or the text where someone just keeps seeing the 3 dots and then it goes away, and then the 3 dots and then it goes away, and it's like
you're just going off, and it's like you take that whole 10-second rule.
Yeah.
The whole try to, before you react, 10 seconds. And then you go back and you're like, oh, maybe I probably shouldn't send that.
Yeah. Or let's reframe
Definitely
this.
Save myself much grief.
Let's reframe this. Yeah. No, and I think the world would be a better place if everyone did that. Unfortunately, 98% of the people don't, and they just fire right off.
Well,
with
I think the world would be a much better place if these things were, you take these things face to face and you watch how different that works out.
Yeah, no, there's so much where people tee off and then you talk to them in person and they're like, hey man, what's up? And it's like,
yeah,
dude.
My favorite thing is like, I'm the worst because I never forget.
No,
I see everything.
Yeah.
So
I'm the same way.
Like,
I try not to be a grudge holder, but it happens, you know what I mean? And it's like, even if I'm not actively holding a grudge, I call it under duly noted. Like, all right, duly noted.
That's it.
And I'll see you.
Nailed it, dude.
I'll see you, bud. Yeah. I'll see you. And then it's like, oh, yeah.
Like I laugh. I go like, getting ready to do some promotion stuff. And some of the people on the promotion list, I'm like, oh, okay. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to be like, nah, what I'm going to do? I'm going to call them out on the interview.
Yeah.
See how that works out. Warning.
But you know what? Guess what, man? That's what people need. You know what I mean? Like, and
accountability.
True to yourself. If you're true to yourself and you're representing yourself right, and you're holding people accountable for what they say, and don't let them slink and worm out of it, and it'll keep people more honest, right?
Yeah, I mean, dude, honestly, my biggest problem with everything is accountability. I'm so sick of people doing shit and not being held accountable for.
Yeah. And
that has just become such a fucking sore spot for me, because that's, where we come from, that never flew.
No.
You know what I mean? And it like, I'm sick. Look, in the simple terms, I'm sick of the bad guys winning, so to say. And I'm like, if there's any way that I could hold somebody accountable for something, then I'm going to do it, and I'm sick of it, especially in this business, because there's a lot of scumbags, man. And there's a lot of scumbags in places that I was shocked to know. And with people that I would never in a million years thought. And I sit there and go, wow, can't believe that, And it's like that, and it's like,
it's a letdown.
Now when you see these people, you definitely have look at them in a whole different light. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whereas used to be like, hey, what's going on? Now it's going to be like, yeah, what's up, man?
What's up? Yeah, keep it moving.
That's how it's going to be. Yeah. What's up, man? I'm out.
Yeah, it sucks. I think too, like, you're probably like me, and politics, you just expect everyone to be a scumbag. But in our little worlds of our subcultures, whether it's metal or hardcore or punk or choppers or whatever, you kind of think people are going to be a little bit cooler and a little bit more on the same page about things. And it's a bum out. It's a letdown when it's not, because it's like, man, we're in the same world, dude. You should be operating the same way. You know what I mean? And,
right. Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, and the thing is that there's nothing wrong. Look. Reality is not everybody's going to like everybody. Not everybody's going to get along. They're not going to see the same. And I respect that. That's the key. Yeah. You can respect that. Like, you got to work with people. And you know what? You can still be respectful. Yeah, okay, cool. But when those people start to step out of line and get disrespectful and they expect it back, dude, that doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't work like that. If you do not respect, you're not getting it back.
No.
You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
just how it is.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you can't handle it, then you're gonna get smashed in the face.
Yeah, you know, the problem is, right, is that in this world nowadays, is everyone wants to preach things about like diversity and acceptance and
Ugh.
whatever, which is cool because, like you said, like if people have different opinions than me, cool, I'm fine with that. I respect it.
Yes.
If they have a logical framework for what they're thinking and they thought out, and we don't agree, cool. Like I don't care. Like cool, you do you, I'll do me.
Me neither.
But
Yeah.
most of the people that are kind of saying, hey, we need more tolerance and diversity are very intolerant motherfuckers unless you are, you know, are in 100% agreement with them. You know what I mean? It's like,
I don't understand
and it's
that
like-
aspect of it.
and it's like, you know, and that's in every level of society. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
every level of
Yeah.
the world now, it's just like, oh, you know, like blah, blah, blah. But, and if you don't agree with them, like all of a sudden you're a fascist when you're like the most unfascist person in the fucking
Dude.
world. Do you know what I mean?
Dude, they
And it's
ruined
like,
those words. Those words have
Yeah.
no meaning anymore.
Yeah, no,
they don't
they have
mean
no
anything
meaning.
because
No.
they freaking use it. You take a piss in the wrong direction, you're a fascist.
yeah.
What the fuck?
What are you talking
know what I
about,
mean?
dude? You know what I mean? Oh,
I always go like this. Do you even know what the word means?
yeah,
Do
yeah.
you even know what it means?
Yeah. Let's look at the dictionary. You know what I mean? If you,
Oh
but
my God,
it's-
dude!
it's-
It's just, you know. And the thing is like it's funny. Like I said, I've gone to so many different places, different religions, different cultures. I get no problem with anybody. If you don't, it's a give and take thing.
100%.
I have no problem with nothing. You know, you can, as long as we're respecting each other and everything's cool. I don't care what you could believe in the Easter Bunny being. You know, I don't care. I don't
Yeah.
give a shit. I believe in
Yeah.
the Easter Bunny, but you know, but.
And that's what you're getting quoted on.
That's it, dude. I believe in these. I live with one.
Yeah.
You know, so it's absolutely ridiculous, and I, you know, I avoid all that stuff like the plague because I could, you know, like you, I could get so heated about
Yeah.
any of that because I like, you know, because you sit there pounding your head going, this doesn't even make any sense what you're saying whatsoever. Like the common sense of things. That's what I'm a big fan of. Common sense. You know, I might not agree with you, but if it's, you know, okay, your point of view makes sense in that aspect, I'm cool.
Yeah.
But when you try to come at me with something that absolutely has no sense whatsoever, I can't go there.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm going to
good.
dismantle
I'm
that
good.
really fast.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
Or ignore it. Yeah. I've been more interested. I'm not, you know, I used to get like, man, everyone's going to know about this stuff and blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
Yeah, we've had that conversation.
I ain't trying to convert anybody. Like, I'm not trying to, I'm just, especially now with that new redacted channel, I'm putting stuff out that I think's important. And if you agree with it, cool. If you don't, cool. I don't care. I'm not trying to get you to see my way. I'm just trying to expose you to things. You know what I mean? And
And it's, you know, and the thing is so interesting about that. That's why I love that concept. And I'm like, I want to be on that show.
it's not a show though. That's the thing. But I have an idea.
Whatever. We'll
I know
make
we
it a
talked
show
about.
at some
I
point,
have an
right?
idea. I have an idea though. Like I was telling you before. I even have a name for it. I'm gonna, as soon as we stop recording, I'm gonna run something by you, and I think we can get it together really fast. And I think it'll be interesting, and I think it could turn into its own thing. But we'll talk about that.
We'll discuss that for sure.
But
yeah, I mean, you know, because there's so many, like, you know, especially with AI. Dude, the whole concept of reality. Oh my God, we could go down the rabbit hole with this, but like the whole idea of what's real and what isn't anymore. Dude, you know, when you start to kind of like, I've been really into philosophy for the last couple of years, and I'm really into like quantum theories and all these things. And when you start even learning about that, you're like, oh my God, I don't know. Am I waking up? Is this even real? I don't know. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? you can really drive yourself crazy, right?
Oh no, and then you read that CERN has already tapped into another dimension, and that dimension was aware that we were tapped into that dimension, and you're like, what are you saying here? This is what you're saying. So what's going on that you're not saying?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
We're like, oh well, in the 2000s we basically went into a black hole, and now the timeline's broken.
Yeah.
Oh, Is that why?
And then you
time
put the
doesn't
tinfoil
seem
out, and that's why you remember Sinbad having a movie about a genie, and but it doesn't exist. Yeah.
But here's the exactly. Dude, that's a whole other thing.
Well,
dude.
you're talking about the
I'm like-
timeline being messed up. That's why I'm just tapping.
I'm like,
into that.
dude, I fucking saw a movie. It was called Shazam.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I don't give a shit what you fucking tell me. I saw that and it was real. And don't fucking tell me that was a mass illusion. 'Cause no way. I'm like, why is it just that, but not this? Why is it just that one thing? What made that thing an illusion? Oh my, here we go.
Why is that so important? Why is that so important? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell made that so important that it was that, you know? And the Fruit of the Loom fucking symbol. I'm
That's
like, nah,
true.
dude.
That one I'm 100% like, no, that existed. I remember it for 100. And I think people have dug up the old tags. Yeah, the old tags. Yeah. The Shazam one I can go either way, but the Fruit of the Loom, I'm like, no, I remember that for sure.
You know, it's funny though when they start to do that, they get you questioning yourself.
I think that's probably the whole psyop behind it, right? Is to get you
it's the
not
whole
knowing.
idea. You're like, hey, what do they say? All you have to do is plant that seed of doubt, and it just grows, right?
And that taps into what you just said about AI, because now the AI that I just play with, like, looks fucking real. Like, so imagine what they have and how long they've had it
every day,
and how much it's actually been ingrained, or like how much what you see is actually that. And I'm talking, you know, mainstream news propaganda and whatever, you know what I mean, or just in general. But like, it's going to get a lot crazier because the stuff that we're playing with as toys is like super powerful. Imagine what this is going to look like in a year.
Well, put it to you this way. With graphics and video, I deal with AI every day.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
And obviously that's a huge debate in the art world. And I'll say my piece in one sentence. It's AI is a tool.
Yep.
When it comes to that, as far as I'm concerned, it ain't no different than when Pro Tools came out. Is it no different than when
Photoshop came out?
Paintbrush, Photoshop, the whole difference. Now, people that are using it solely, I mean, that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other topic. But back to what you're saying, like I mentioned this probably every other week. Like every time I go into my AI hub of where all my tools are, there's new shit coming out. Yeah. And it's like, it's so fast that I'm like, I don't even know how to run this one. And they've already got something that's 10 times better that all I have to do is basically go, hey, make a balloon.
Yeah.
Whereas before you had to do this whole thing. And now it's just like, hey, make a balloon that's red.
Yeah. And it's flying across a mountain. Yeah. And there's a seagull, and there's a Viking, and there's all this shit like.
Dude, and every time it's getting crazier and crazier, and like, you know, before it was the whole deep fake. That ain't fucking nothing. I could do more than that right on my laptop.
Yeah.
And it takes 10 minutes. And I'm like, what? So think about it. Think about the technology that they have.
That's what I'm saying. It's 10 years beyond that. Exactly. But 10 years is now quantum 10 years. Like, because things are like, you know what I mean? Like, things are escalating at such a fast level that, you know what
it's
the
like
crazy
10 minutes.
The funniest use of AI to me right now is people that are making old soul songs out of like metal and hardcore songs. And they're fucking great. You're like, why does it sound so good? It sounds like it was recorded on a Motown, you know, Motown put it out in 1968. You know what I mean? Like, why is it so good? Like, it's scary.
I remember about a year, like probably like 8-9 months ago, you know, a pretty well-known producer sent me one. And I literally, this was before it kind of caught on.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, who did this? And he goes, dude, it's AI. And I'm like, you're fucked.
Yeah.
We're fucked. I'm like, dude. He goes, you're not kidding.
Well, you saw the thing, right? That there's so many 100% AI bands on Spotify now that are like getting traction. Like, and then what's going to happen is like, those songs are going to get big enough where they're going to make a band.
Well, dude, it's
to
already
be a cover
happened.
band of that, right? You know,
Dude, in Japan, there's a totally made up J-pop artist
oh,
that's
I heard
not
that.
real.
I heard that. Yeah.
And she could sell out stadiums on a hologram or on a video board.
Yeah.
And they go.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
That's bananas.
You know, and it's like like a lot of people are going, well, you know, the live experience is going to start coming back. Well, in theory, yeah, because that would be the alternative. But here's the problem. All these live things are owned by big corp now. The prices are too much. You know, people aren't spending, they don't have the disposable income to go to these shows anymore.
Yeah.
Or they have to pick one out of the 10 now. Everybody's on tour. Hey, when you're going on tour in March, like 40 other bands.
Yeah.
You know, and then you look at the
you got these
venue and the
venues
whole
now,
week
yeah.
is all bands you want to see.
And then
But I don't have
the merch prices are through the roof because now all the venues want a piece of it or they want to control the pricing of it, and it's like bananas, yeah. Because they caught on because that's the only way to make money now is off the merch. It's not, you know, not making.
And
money
that's
on
the only way the
records.
band's making any money, and they're just totally raping them on that.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And then they wonder why bands can't tour. Well, there you go. That's part of it too. You know. So yeah, but the whole thing with AI is like, yeah, it's. Yeah, I mean, literally. And here's the thing. That's even scarier that no one talks about is that we know that one of the ploys on psyoping is that if you're the first one to put it out, that's what people will believe automatically.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's real or not.
Yeah.
And you could come back in like 10 hours and say, no, that's not true. But guess what? That's already trickled down. And the majority of people that haven't gone back in 10 hours believe that. So think if something really fucking pivotal is pushed out that's not real, but it's already being reacted.
Yeah.
That's real danger.
Yeah.
You know, that isn't make-believe shit. That's real people.
Yeah.
You know, that's the scary part. You know, and when, you know, you see what's going on with these freaking fanatics, what's going on about the nonsense that's going on. And all you got to do is light the match with them. And it's already happening. Yeah. You know, they don't even want to know the truth. They just want to go, I don't like this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't like this. Automatically, they pounce on it without any information at all.
Yeah, just crazy.
Automatic. Yeah, that's it.
It's a sad world, man. And
that's fucked up, man.
Yeah, because you know people are getting exposed to propaganda all day. They're all reactionary, and it's like no one's taking a step and taking a breath and thinking, and then they're just getting wrapped up in it. And then it's like when people finally like catch their breath, it's always like too late. And now it's on to the next thing. You know what I mean?
Perfect example. 5 years ago, you, I, and many people, you know, we had things to say about certain things that were going on, and you were crazy.
Yeah.
You couldn't talk about it. You're a conspiracy theorist.
You're a blasphemer. Yeah.
You're nuts.
Yeah.
You're a Nazi. You're this and you're that. And then all of a sudden, everything that you tried to tell someone was actually true. But guess what? It came out 5 years later. They're not even, no one's even hearing it. No, They're not even hearing it.
And that's why when people were saying people that don't get the should be in camps and should be kept out of society.
Oh yeah.
I'm never forgetting that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, you're the fascist. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because someone's not getting someone's not getting a jibber jab. Like you want to label them less than human, and then they should be in camps and they should be outside of society. Like, the funny thing is that nobody that was that hardcore on that side of things has like recanted and apologized and been like, I wasn't thinking, I'm sorry. They're all they've either doubled down or they shrunk into their shell like a fucking shitty little turtle. You know what I mean? Like they slunk away. They're
not going to remember me saying that.
Yeah.
Like what we're talking about before.
The internet is a record, man. It's like you can go back and look at people's Twitters or whatever. It's all there. The
thing is that, you know, again, like, I mean, Jesus, look what happened over the weekend. You know, you got all these people freaking out about this, and all of a sudden, 12 months ago, they were so for what happened, but now they're not all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Just because of the person that did it. It's a perfect example. It's like, oh, well, wait a second. But no one's looking back at what they said and what they really thought. They're just going according to what they just told you, 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous, man. And that's what I talk about accountability.
Yeah.
If there was more accountability for shit, no one would be pulling that stuff.
Well,
you get away with it, you're going to do it again. It's no different than, what's the society? If you steal something, they cut your hand off. Well, you're not going to steal again. And the guy next door to you is not going to steal because he just saw you lost your hand.
Yeah.
But if you go and steal and you get a slap on the wrist, don't worry about it. Guess what? The guy next door is going to go, fuck it, I can do it too.
Yep. And that's why
it's really broken down to that simple.
Yeah, it is. And it's the problem is that accountability is gone at like multiple levels of our society. Because even if you look at like the top level of like government, right, that who are supposed to be stellar, who are supposed to be examples for us, but Congress, Senate, executive branch, there's no accountability on anyone. It's just like, but there's not been one arrest in any of the Epstein shit or anything. Like, when's that coming?
It's funny. I kind of was hoping you would say this because I have a. You know what? There's only one thing about that I'll say that the only thought that I could think of. Well, there's two. Obviously we know the corruption, which is sad because we do know the corruption, but yet they're all still there. That's a whole other story. But when you think about it, if people of that level are doing the things that they're being supposedly accused of, right, which are like unforgivable things,
heinous, yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, they should all be strung up by their nuts in a public court. That's why I don't give a fuck. You can quote me on that. I don't give a shit. But the fact of the matter is that you have to look at the other side too. Is that if you have that many bad eggs and you're trying to do the right thing, so to say, I'm just using this as an example, and you come in and you try to put this high profile person away, if you don't have 1000% backing and the proof to be able to make it stick, then why would you even bother? Because you're going to look like a fucking idiot at the end, right?
Looking like an idiot is the least of your worries, because you're gonna accidentally be unalived is more like it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. So you think about it, and you got to remember, it's different when there's a person that has nobody. Like, why is it that all the special ops and all these deep cover people, they got no family, they got no attachments? Yeah. Why? Because the shit that they do, they have nothing to be held on to them to make them talk about anything.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
And this ain't movie shit. This is real. Yeah. Right. Now, if you're in a position where you have a family and you got this, and someone says, "Hey, I'm going to do this," you're going to be like, "Fuck." I'm just going to shut the fuck up and go just do what I got to do to make sure. How many people in those positions are there? Right. What I just said.
Yeah.
Come on. We know that
more than we know, probably,
and I think the other thing that's fascinating to me is that, you got this many people that rule this many people. Imagine if this many people could get along and understand, hence why we deal with what we do with, how fast could we get rid of this many people? Look what they did in Nepal. They got mad because they took this social network away. They fucking burnt the place down.
The problem here is that they keep us so distracted and divided on false wedge issues that no one's looking at the bigger picture or using common sense. They're just like, if you're not with me, you're against me. And it's like, no, we're probably more in league with each other than you know, because you don't give it a chance, because you automatically dismiss someone because they didn't vote for who you voted for. And it's like, exactly. At the end of the day,
and in a thing that sucks, and this is the truth, because we were goofing about this actually. It's like, remember we were like, dude, we should just run for office.
Yeah.
And crazily, what? Because what a lot of people don't understand that, real decisions happen at a city council level.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A lot of people don't know that, and it's fascinating that these city councils get voted in with 500 people.
If that.
Could you imagine, right? Could you imagine somebody with a network of people, and we run for city council of New Bedford, right? And we won. Holy shit. Yeah. Imagine that. We come in, And dude, do you realize, you know for a fact that probably we'd be getting knocks on our door and going, oh, well, it's all fun and games and shit, but guess what?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How many people has that probably happened to? And if you're a low level fucking council member, you're not gonna say shit because you got your family. Those are real family people. These are nobody of any stature or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so you could see, it's easy to see where a lot of people will go in with good intention. How many politicians went in with good intention and all of a sudden they've turned on everything and they're all millionaires now?
Oh yeah.
Whoa, they went in with no money and now they're millionaires and they've turned their back on everything that they said 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, dude, that's like not obvious.
And that's where accountability comes in. And not once people will still keep voting for them because it's like, oh, they got a D after the name or R after the name. Oh yeah. Well, that's like, that's the whole other thing.
I mean, it's a problem. It's like you could say one thing and then you're like, well, what if?
Yeah.
And the thing is a lot of these what ifs, 10 years ago would have been like, you're fucking insane. That's not even that. You wouldn't even think of that. But now you question everything
you have
to. You have to, because like 9 times out of 10, the crazy ideas are the ones that are real.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I know. That's why a lot of times it's like, I'll that's why I like doing this show, right? Because I can regress and just do some like music stuff or some, motorcycle stuff. And then I'll get into some real stuff, or then I'll just get into some weird stuff. Cause if I can't understand people that just do political or like conspiracy stuff. Cause like that would drive you crazy. If just dealing with that all day, every day, because it's so infuriating. Yeah. I can't imagine doing that. So I like to come back and just do some weird stuff or some fun stuff, like, because you got to stay grounded, and because you still got to get through life, man. And you can't go through pissed off and miserable, and
have a good pizza.
Yeah, that's right.
Like at the Dipper.
We gotta unveil the Marc pizza when you come down. We gotta work on
coming, baby.
Yeah, we gotta do it.
I have it all designed. So
yeah, everyone loves those too. Home. Whenever we do a new one, like the All Sinners one or whatever, like they do good. People love it. You know what I mean? They want to try new things. So we'll work on that and give you your own dip of pizza.
At everybody, they're gonna be like, what the fuck?
All right, just make sure it's stuff I can get from my distributors.
Oh no!
I know some weird stuff but yeah, man. So you got a lot going on, and I appreciate taking the time to talk today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So I'd be remiss without asking. I know you kind of touched on this, but the state of people are going to ask the state of metal church, where it stands. Is there any movement, or is it still like a stagnant thing, or do you see any?
Dude, that's all. They announced a whole new lineup, new single, new album. Oh yeah, that's all done.
It's all done.
They totally bamboozled us, and yeah, it's pretty disgusting what happened. It's kind of funny. I read with somebody. Obviously somebody always likes to tag you on something. And I saw one comment that made me fucking laugh. They're like, oh, he knew and he's just playing victim. I'm like, listen, motherfucker, you have no fucking idea because you're not in it. You're not involved in it. And I'll tell you right now, right here, not playing victim. Fucking victim of what? I go that whole thing was a shit show from day one.
Yeah.
If you want to know the truth, you know what I mean? But, to not have conversations and get totally slighted like that, especially in public, and then saying that we quit. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, nobody fucking quit. Nobody was fired. You just threw it under the table like what we were talking about.
And it started
no one's going to notice.
Yeah.
And that, you know what? And honestly, that's the only thing that bothered me. You think that you're working with people that are supposed to be, comrades, you're with them on tour day to day, and all of a sudden, and then they just totally blow you off and disregard, like, not even having a conversation to even say, hey, look, you know what? We're going to go in another direction, or we don't agree with this or what that was, but not to have that, and I mean, let's just put it this way. It was business.
Yeah.
Business. That's all I'm going to say. It was business that the whole thing started to crumble.
Yeah.
And, it didn't have to end like that, but you know what? Hey, whatever. The thing is this, like I said, the fans are going to go. They're going to go. It's going to be, they're happy. That's cool. Great. I'm grateful for what I did. While I was there, everybody was awesome. I thank them, and the support was awesome. And, I did what I had to do. One and done. The album did great. It got great reviews. The tours were awesome. I have no regret in any of that.
Yeah.
How I wish it would have went down different? Absolutely. You know what I mean? But the moral of that story is communication is very important in everything. You know what I mean? A lot of those things could have been avoided just by having a simple conversation. But when certain parties don't want to even deal with it and they just want to take their ball and go home, so there it is. What can you do? And that's the honest truth. I mean, that's as far as I'll get into it right now. But that's where it's at.
Yeah.
So go enjoy the new record. Go do what you want. But I'm not there.
Yeah. Well, no, but it's good to be able to at least kind of get your side out. You know what I mean? Because people are probably curious about everything, and
Yeah, I'm being nice.
Yeah. It's cool. Yeah, it's good. Hey, it's always better to take the high road, right? You know what I mean? You got you got enough going on. You know what I mean? You got onward and upward, right? You're doing good, and you're still being creative.
I just hope we're never on the same show with them.
Yeah. Then it's New Bedford
Just
style.
saying.
New Bedford style, right? Yeah. Can take the kid out of the city. Can't take the city out of the kid.
That's right.
But yeah, man, where can people find you? What's going on, man? And where can people find out what you got going on?
Honestly, dude, Instagram.
Yeah.
That's my place. I like Instagram because I freaking love my dog videos.
Yeah.
Give me my friend's dog videos all day, dude. My friend's bulldogs and pizza and food. I'm good, dude.
Yeah.
I'm cool, man. That's what I like.
I'll put it in the link in the show notes
Thank
so
you.
that people can find you.
Yeah.
But
Because I mean, it gets shared to everything else anyways. So,
Yeah.
it always goes.
That's
It
the
always
landing.
goes from there. But
Yeah. That's the landing page,
Yeah.
and then you can figure it out. But yeah, man, if you need if you're a good band and you need some artwork or a video, hit him up. If you need a shed built, hit him up. If you need some vocals, hit him up. He's a man of many hats and a master of them all. So it's good.
Thank you.
But yeah, man, it was good talking today. I'm gonna shut this off, but I'm not hanging up. So just hold on one second.
Yep.
All right, that's another one in the books, the first one of 2026. We got a lot more coming up in all the worlds of that the podcast handles, whether it's music, motorcycles, or conspiracy and weird stuff. And once again, I invite you, if you haven't already, go to Instagram at Big Truth Redacted and give the conspiracy element a follow. That's my new page that is going to just be more deeper dives specifically into conspiracy, occult, weird stuff, paranormal, and high strangeness, right? Also, make sure you follow the podcast specific Instagram at the Big Truth Podcast on Instagram. On Facebook, it's Big Truth Podcast, facebook.com/Big Truth Podcast. And if you haven't already subscribed to YouTube, go over to YouTube and subscribe over there, youtube.com at the Big Truth Podcast. We need to build those numbers up because I slept on YouTube for so long. But yeah, follow all the new stuff and keep it locked. We got a lot more coming up, and I appreciate you listening all the way to the end. You absolutely rule.